Good morning.
I'll go through the points as you have it over here. So our fee collection. As you know, on Rise, the parents are attached to their children's school fee account. So the minute a parent makes payment and the bursar in the office connects that payment to a parent, the parent then can immediately on Rise see that a payment was made, it was received by the school, and it's reflecting on their statement. And we found that that was extremely important to have, because quite often the hard copy statements that we would send out would only be sent out once a term. And parents who then made payment and those payments were not reflected on the statements, it would be a month or two before they could query it. And then there's often a lot of to and froing and aggro about the fact that the school did not pick up the payment. Whereas now with Rise, it's immediate or almost immediate. I make the payment, I can then see that I can see it straight on the Rise app just by going on to billing, and I can see that I paid. I can see a statement. I can email parent statements also. So especially the ones who skipped. So we try and keep track of when certain parents pay. So if they skip their day or two late, then we send them a reminder. So I can send them a statement via email. I can also send them a reminder on the chat and Rise and say, you missed your payment, is there a problem? And I make contact with you. And so, okay, we're back here. So yeah, so that's the one thing. And now Anna showed me something that we could link, Anna, so that you can actually see a child's account.
Yes, so you can just share your screen. It should work. So just to inform everyone, we are recording this session as some schools who couldn't make it last minute, they requested that we send it to them. And as I have mentioned previously, if possible, please unmute your microphone at the bottom of your screen in the left corner. This will be appreciated. Thank you very much. And once the presentation is done, then you'll be able to ask questions. Thank you.
Okay, now let's see if I can do it.
Sorry, Mr. Pereira, did you have a question?
No, I can't seem to get it on now. I must go off again. And
so the tab, we can see your screen. So the tab just next to the Zoom Meet on the right.
I can't see it at all.
Just on the browser, the tab.
So you can see my actual screen now.
We can see your screen, yes. So it's the Zoom.
I'm
It's
not
the
linked
Zoom
to
screen.
Rise yet.
And to open the Rise, I can see the tab. It's just on your right. Just the last tab in the browser. On top of your browser.
Oh, there it is. Sorry. Okay, so now if I go onto my Rise, I should be able to.
No, why don't you people do that? Take this up. Yeah.
Okay, we can see your system screen.
Okay. So this is what you would have, and on the school, if I click on school, I can then go and where is it now? No, it's not schools. I know you need to just help me. Is it sales?
Correct, yes.
Sales. And I go to, I can either create a payment receipt or I go to payment receipts. I see all the payment receipts. Come on.
Or you can click on statements as well. It's just on your right. The third one on the right, on the left-hand side is just after the.
Oh yeah,
cash
I
sales.
can do that also. So there you can see how we account for everything. So even we had a beach walk, and you would see the parents' donations that they gave for the beach walk. It would all be recorded, and the parents would actually see this on their phones. If I go back to school and I look at statements, I mean sales, sorry. Then if I'll click on the child. And you can see this would be the statement that the parent would get, and all their payments that they made. And then up over here, there's an email tab that if I click on it, I can actually email that to the parent. And just write a message, or else, as I said, the parent can actually see this in real time on their phone. Now, Anna showed me how to do that on Friday. So, Anna, can we show that so that people can see what it will look like on their phone?
Yes. You can, on your phone, you can just open the screen share app.
Yeah. And then restart and start that.
Okay, I see a message. I see a message asking if the sound is off. If I may ask you, I don't know if it's possible, Mr. Pereira, maybe just to speak a bit closer to the microphone, because it is a bit soft from on my side as well.
Okay, I'll get closer. I hope that is better. Okay, so I started that sharing. So I'm going to go into the Rise app.
Okay, just a second, because there is another message saying the sound is off. I can just answer via chat so that everyone can see? Can somebody, if possible, just unmute the microphone and just confirm that you can hear us?
I can hear you.
All right, thank you so much, Joanne. Okay, so for people who could possibly not hear us, I'm just gonna, okay, the sound is on. All right, thank you so much.
Anna, so can you take me through that process again to show what the parent would actually see on their
Yes.
phone?
Okay, so is your app, did you open your app?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now we just need to open a new tab in your browser. So on top of your screen, we click plus.
Yeah.
And we need to enter the link that the app shows you. It should be 198 dot,
Oh, yes,
and then there will be a number.
Okay, it's just loading.
And then if you click start on your screen sharing app, it should broadcast your phone onto the screen.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is what I was talking about. I linked myself to one of my children at the school, and if I click on it, there's a payment history that comes up. So it shows the parent immediately, this is what they paid, and this is what is still owing. Parents also have access to invoices. They can show their payment history.
Ek probeer nou uitvind wat sê hulle, maar die ou lyk net nog 'n sukkel om ding op video te kry of iets.
Okay, so there the parent can actually see their payment history. They know exactly what they paid. And this for us has been one of the most important things, I believe, in us collecting a larger part of our fees on time, instead of having to fight with parents through the year so that we get our fees in. This year, for the first time actually, that we aren't really fighting with parents for fees because of the app. They're reminded all the time about it. So that was just something that I thought I would share with you around that. The second part, I'll go back to that. The second part is your 043s. Now, I don't know about some of the principles on this chat, but for me, 043s, I had numerous spreadsheets and things that I use to get my 043s working. And now I can just by clicking, if I go to school and I go to report, and under reports I see 043s, I click on my 043 and it comes up eventually. Come on. I'm there to run that report for my second term. Then my computer is slow. Oh, my internet is slow. So there you can see that's my 043s. All the payments and the income and everything assigned to the correct areas, and I just print out. So come the end of June, I'll just print this out and get it signed off by the governing body. And I can explain to you how all of this works. For me, it's just very nice to see that I don't have to go and use Excel and formulas to assign payment or income to certain categories. Then, of course, number 3, everything is under one system. Between myself and the secretary, we have Rise on our computers. Teachers have the app on their phones. We do our absentees, the teachers do their absentees on the phone. We can send messages on the phone, we can chat to parents. Everything happens on one system, which is absolutely fantastic. Before, at our school, we used the WhatsApp for chatting, we use staff room, and we also had to then, and we still use the WCD all their web apps and things. And it was a lot of different things that we had to do. And also at our school, we used the billing system, we used Pastel. So you could see the amount of duplication that we were having to do. Load things up onto Seamers, load things up onto Pastel, load things up onto staff room. Now, at least we still have Seamers that we must load up onto, but at least with having Rise, we've made away with Pastel and with staff room. So instead of having to do the same things in Pastel and in staff room, we now don't have that duplication. We're just working with one program. So that's one of the big savings in terms of time for us. Then the next thing is the budget and keeping track of our budget. We just had governing body meeting, and so for our governing body meeting, they want all their financial reports just like everybody else. And again, what I found was quite nice over here was this tab over here, income statement, cash basis, because I'm used to working in Pastel, and in Pastel doesn't give you a running total of your school fees paid. You would have to calculate all of that off your bank statements and your receipts and things. Whereas here, I can get an income statement. I choose cash places, and then I immediately get to see what amount of fees I collected. And so there we go. You can see that over there, and then you can see all our expenses. And you can actually, the nice thing about this is I send this to the parents, and I attach right at the end, I attach graphs to this. I showed I know what I was doing, just so that it makes it easier for parents to, everybody actually, to see what percentage of fees are we collecting, what percentage in terms of our expenses have we made, where are we over budget, all of those things you can actually pick up over here. And you can drill down into all of these things. So if I click on something, I can actually drill down to it. And when I send it, so I do that, and I click on transactions, and I click on select. And I can see exactly how, where that figure comes from in terms of the transactions. I can see it over there. And when I send this to the parents, I send it to them as an Excel spreadsheet. Because Pastel allow, I mean, not Pastel, Rise allows me to save it as an Excel spreadsheet. So all of these drilling down to see what the figure is actually made up of is available to my parents also. So they can immediately, if they click on it, they can see the same thing that I'm seeing. The budget, there you see budget plan actual, and there this is another one that I use for reporting to the governing body. And there you can see how you're faring against what you budgeted. So we've actually put our budget into the system so that we can see it over there. So there's our actual, there's our budget, and we can see where we over, where we under. And of course, we compare, especially our fees, we compare this to our previous history, so that we know whether we are under collecting or over collecting, and you know, just what the state is at that point. So that's what we use this for. Okay. And then this is just one actual total, but you can also set it up so that it gives you monthly budget versus actual. So it can give you can get it per month. I'm not too sure again how they budget plan actual in months. So if I want to do it in months, I can do it in months. Run the report. Once I've run the report, then you can see it. And again, this is it's something that I look at a lot with my bursar and my treasurer, because we break down things into months on the budget, and so it's a lot easier for us to keep track of what is going on and where we over, where we under. It's what is happening in our school. Okay, and then how to log a learner incident. Now, That's on school, and you'll see over here, you have under behavior, you have incidents. Now, you'll see over here, we've logged 3. There weren't really incidents. They were reminders of meetings that parents had with either the psychologist or the counselor or whoever it was that they had to meet. And it's easy to do it over here under incidents, even though because here, if I show you one, click on it, then you can see that it allows you to speak directly to a particular parent. So the parent gets the message. See, this was a meeting with a psychologist, and that's what's the child's name. And then we said transgression was a meeting request. But this is a good way if you're having a child who is misbehaving, and you need to get the message to that parent. You can do it quickly and easily because they get the message straight away on their phone. So that's how what you would do with learner incident. So we do have an issue with a child, we can immediately send a message to that parent, and that parent will see it straight away on their phone once we've posted the message. The other thing that I've learned about, I don't think it's on a week. I found this quite if you go to school and you go to news, you'll see news is part of the school communicator system. And if I post a news and my parents, see, I posted news today about COVID because some of our children, they haven't been coming to school with their masks. And you can see over here, there's views and there's likes and things. Now, this was just a reminder, but if I post something over here, no, this is wrong one. It's not news, it's events that I must go to, sorry. But over here, you can see the views, you can see how many parents actually looked at it. And you get likes also, which is not something that I'm used to, but I guess we live in a different age than what I'm used to. So events, this was the thing that I learned just recently about Rise. So if I have an event that let me go to, I'll take you to our beach walk. So, you will see what it looks like over here. But if I go to the 26th, oh, that's June, sorry. I go to my 26th. Sorry. Come on. There we go. So you'll see on over here. No, I want to create the event. I don't want to create the event. I want to go to an event that I already had. Anyway, let's look at SGB. So this was an SGB meeting. Now, when I send this to the parents get it, and if on their phones they would get the message, and the message would actually require them to say, yes, I will be attending, or no. And if they say yes, then they get reminders on their phone. So 2 days and maybe an hour before, they get a reminder, which is good, especially for governing body meetings. Since most of ours are virtual meetings now. But also good for parents when we have, like we had a beach walk, as I said to you previously, we had a beach walk on Saturday, and the response was tremendous. We had more parents than what we've ever had at a beach walk. Now, I think maybe part of it is just that they were wanting to get out. And we hadn't met yet as a whole school for more than a year now. So that was part of it. But yeah, I think it's also got to do with the app, so that the minute they say on their phone that they go in, and let me just show you on the phone, then you can actually see what I'm speaking about. If I go to my stream again, then I can show you what they see. There we go. So if I go to events on my phone, you can see over here all the different events. And I click on one. See there, it says going. So if a parent says, yes, they're going, then they will get those reminders. So that's something that I need to get my parents to do regularly, that they must indicate whether they're going or not. And something that I must also start doing, this. I don't like sending little messages about, yes, I'm going, no, I'm not going, and things. Okay, so, and then of course, with us, paper and printing, and I think with most schools that is one of your biggest expenses, as paper and printing. And having the Rise app, we don't have to print. We don't have to use our paper for that. We just post it on the Rise app, and we know that as long as we get every single parent of ours to download the app, then they will be receiving the message. There's no more where at the end of the term the parent empties their child's school bag, and then they find all the rotten bananas mixed up with all the newsletters from the school. None of that happens anymore. We're now sure that they actually get it. And in our school, we struggle really hard. It's not an easy process to get a parent, just like anything, to get them to download an app. And so we've been urging them, using their children as a means to get to them. And we started at the beginning of this year on Rise, and we've got 98% of our parents already on. And we're hoping to get the other few soon on. Some of them, it's real issues where I've got a few where there's no smartphones. So what I do is I try and find someone else in that family, or the person who employs them. Like I get some of the domestics around my school who send their children to me, and so I would phone the person who employs them and ask them to use their smartphones, because some of them don't have smartphones. So yeah, so I've got two or three of cases like that where we followed up and we made sure that the parent actually does have access and will be able to see it. But it is a process. It's not easy. You would think that downloading an app would be easy these days, but yeah, it's not that easy. I think I covered everything, Anna.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much. It was very informative, and yeah, thank you very much. If there are questions, you can ask your questions now. You can just unmute your microphone, or you can just type your question in the chat window.
I would like to ask, Alfonso, when you first started, did you get your teachers on board first, or did you go for parents?
Alfonso, can you hear us? Hello?
Okay. Sorry, I muted myself and I couldn't find where I had to unmute. So at first it was purely just about the finances, moving over to Pastel. So it was basically just the admin that we changed. And then we then concentrated on teachers and getting them trained up. Because the teachers, it was mostly just the actual phone app that they had to use, and most teachers, or most of us, would be able to use an app. So it wasn't that difficult. And then, of course, almost simultaneously as working with the teachers, we got the parents to upload the app. And a lot of the parents, again, also, the majority of them, once they've got it uploaded, people are used to downloading apps and using them. So, but to get them to that point, or some of them, you'll find resistance. And sometimes it's real issues that they're having, like they don't have a smartphone, or they just don't have data. So, and these are issues that people do have. So we always try to, if there's resistance, we rather than make a call and ask, you know, is there a problem? Can we help? So if it is a problem around data and they able to collect their children, then they come down, they come to the school and we say, right, log on to our Wi-Fi and then you can download. So yeah, so we always try and help as best we can. That was the process for us. It was firstly just getting the finances across, and then teachers and parents almost simultaneously getting them on board.
Thank you. I think that's the process we intend to follow. We, Mary Help of Christians in Paarl, and we're taking it on board just for the rest of you. And we've had lots of help from Rise training and whatnot. And so we'll be launching it at our school. So you can wish us all luck, but I think we're going to, it's been very helpful to follow Alfonso's journey.
Yeah, you'll find it will go, initially you might, struggle, but as you go through the process, it's quite easy. I always say that the Rise, especially the financial package part of it, reminds me a lot of QuickBooks. I don't know if anybody used QuickBooks, but I used QuickBooks also. And QuickBooks was for me, with no financial background or anything like that, it was an easy process. And Rise is very, very similar.
That's what attracted me, was it was so like QuickBooks and looking so easy. So thanks, Alfonso.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. And just on that, Alfonso, do your teachers also use the Communicator, the app, or do you use it to communicate with your teachers?
Yeah, we've actually shut down our WhatsApp group that we had previously. We shut it down completely because we shifting over onto Rise. And with Rise, our teachers, there's something called channels. I don't know if so if I go to school and I want to send news, so I can create news, and then I can use what is called channels to direct it to specific grades. So if it works, then I can show you. So yeah, here we go. So at the bottom over here, there's what is called channels, and on the channels, see, I've created all these channels in my school. So, and the teachers would have access to their grade. Some of the grade heads and the departmental heads, they would get access to all of these. And so we could actually send out, so if I want to send out a message just to my grade 2 parents, I can do that. Or if I want to send, like me, I send out messages at the start of the week to all my staff, I can do that. I can send it out. I've got a channel for staff and a channel for teachers. I can send specific messages to whoever I want to send it out to, or I can send it out across the school so that everybody gets it. So that's a bit about channels. So you can create that yourself, and Anna would be the person to speak to around that. But yeah, for me, it's useful.
All right. Thank you so much for this. If you would like to ask your question out loud, you can unmute your microphone just at the bottom of your screen. In the left corner, you can just click unmute, and then we'll be able to hear you.
This is Ivona. May I ask, and I haven't been as involved in this as Joan and Roxanne, who's the finance, who's the bursar who's coming on board. But I just want to know, when we set up and start out and start, will there be, would anyone be available to assist us and to walk us through it? I'm talking about, is that ongoing support that you would give once we encounter issues and once we stumble? Would you do that virtually, that kind of support work?
All right, thank you so much for your question. Alfonso, maybe would you mind sharing on your experience with regards to support, if possible?
Okay. With us, we found it quite easy. We would either call ourselves or initially we would have regular meetings. So we would set up chats regularly to ask for an explanation around whatever it is. So often it would be, I mostly work on the side of the news and the events and those kinds of things, and the bursars would be working on the financial side. So they would have their own meetings that they would set up with Anna or whomever will actually help them. And so you would often have me on a meeting with Anna and the bursar on a meeting with someone else, and just getting information around certain things, because a lot of these things you learn as you go along. You don't. I don't think it's a useful exercise to do training on the whole thing and then you're just left. This is, you can phone, you can email, set up meetings, and then ask your specific questions around certain things. How do we do this? How do we do that? And we get the information and we get access.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you, Alfonso.
Thank you so much. Just on that, so the way it works, usually when you start using the system, there is onboarding in place. And we've got an accountant who is quite experienced with schools, and she assists schools on a regular basis. So what she will do, and I believe most of it has been done for your school, Ivona, is that she will basically liaise with you and then get your accounts, for example, get your approved budget and create it in the system, map your accounts to the 043 report and other things. And the reason for this is that this way the school can basically start working as soon as this process is complete. And it also enables you to make sure that things are right and that whatever you need, whatever you require as a school is also implemented in the system. And then once that is done, you've got your training. So then the bursar, just like Alfonso has mentioned, the bursar will be having one-on-one training with our accountant, and starting from invoicing and all other things that you need to do. And usually it's done in a gradual process, in a gradual way, so that you basically don't take too much, as they say, what you can't chew. But as you go along, you know, as you send out your statements and as you need to do other things, you will then schedule this training and you do it basically throughout a couple of weeks or even more. It will depend also how you would like to structure it. And then once your training is complete, we are very much, you know, we try to assist in terms of support and in terms of your possible questions. And a lot of schools make use of that. So they can email questions our accountant. They can just also send a query if it's a general support query. And in terms of support, there is no need for you to call out somebody to come to your school, because the system is fully cloud-based. So we can assist you remotely. And this works well because things get resolved quickly, efficiently, and also in terms of cost, you then also save quite a bit, because on-site support, it ends up costing quite a bit, and it can take some time for the issue to be resolved. Whereas with the cloud system, it gets resolved quickly and there is a good communication in place, and it just basically, that's what it is about. All right, I hope that I've answered the question.
From my side, yes. Thank you very, very much for the
Mhm.
presentation. Thank you for the response.
All right, it's a pleasure. Okay, I see there are more questions in the chat from Sonia. What is the cost of Rise accounting? We are using Pastel and D6 currently. All right. Okay, so the way it works, there are 4 options that schools can make use of. The first option is the communicator. The second option is the admin package. The third option is the accounting package with O43, with O43 report. And the fourth option is all-in-one. So a possible suggestion is then to maybe just set up a brief meeting after this forum and just to have a discussion what your school needs and basically take it from there. Because there are various options, and also, in terms of what you require as a school, you will then decide and we can provide you with a quote, basically. I hope that this answers your question. All right, it's a pleasure. Okay, there is another question. How did you populate your parent information? Did you do it yourselves or populate it from SIMS? Okay. Alfonso, would you mind answering this question, or should I answer it?
I'll answer. We send through our information from Pastel to Rise, and they uploaded everything for us. So we used Pastel as our vehicle or our database to send it through to Rise, and then it is loaded everything up for us.
Thank you so much for this. Yes, so for this exact reason, there is a so-called, it's called SASAM's import tool. So what it means is that the information that you probably have on SIMS, or as Alfonso has mentioned, Pastel, can be then imported into the system. I hope that this answers your question. All right, great. And then there is another question asking, is the app free for parents to use, or do they need data? Okay, 2 questions here. the first question for parents to download the app in terms of the cost or the fee. So there is no fee. It's for free for parents. In terms of data, they do need some data. It's not a lot, but they do need some data. So when you work with the communicator as a school, you can also basically minimize the data consumption by, for example, posting links. So if you have maybe a website or a Google Drive that you use, you can also give them a link, and this just basically saves data. How? It allows them to just open a link when they can and view that specific document or specific update to basically have as little data used as possible. All right, I hope that this answers your question. All right, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much. I think we will wrap up. Thank you so much, Alfonso, for an informative and interesting presentation. And if you have more questions, I will keep this meeting open just in case. And we will also send you a recording of this presentation. And thank you so much for attending this forum and for your questions. Have a nice day.